Hi, welcome back to the new Mom Naturopath podcast. In today's episode, I wanted to talk to you about judgment and the 4 ways I handle judgment. I had a few events happen in my career recently that have made me want to take a step back and realize that what I really want to do is help women like you going through postpartum specifically. And so in order to do that, I'm actually taking a step back of practicing medicine and going into a more assistant role in clinical medicine. And that makes me very happy because I get to have more time to devote to creating great content for people like you. But in today's episode, I really wanted to dive into exactly how I handle judgment, how I make decisions based on those judgments people make, and how that affects you as a new mom. And I really hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, as always, you can find me at Instagram at Dr. Kailyn Galloway. And I really hope you have a wonderful day. Happy New Year.
Are you panicking thinking about bringing your baby home from the hospital? Have you no idea how to change a diaper, nurse a baby, or use a snot sucker? Or do you find yourself constantly fighting over everything with your partner? Welcome to the new Mom Naturopath podcast, the show where we help you find out how to reduce your anxiety, strengthen your relationship, and take care of yourself along with baby. So reheat that lukewarm coffee and get ready to enjoy being nap trapped while we find your confidence in postpartum. My goal with this podcast is to instill the naturopathic principle of docere, which means to teach, in order to help you learn more about your body in postpartum. Nothing in this podcast should be considered medical advice, and any and all information should be used for educational purposes only.
Okay, the interruptions of mom life. I'm back. I know that being a mom is filled with a lot of information that is wildly overwhelming and has a lot of things that you've probably never had to think about before. And so you're gonna have times where people are going to judge you for things that you didn't know were things that needed to be done. And I think in our world with social media, it's really easy to get into a world where people kind of like scoff at you of like, how the heck did you not know that? And I think it's funny because I've been to medical school. I've gone through extensive amounts of training, both in postpartum care as well as like the whole human anatomy and physiology. Like I know how it works. And I still found the immense amount of information that you have to learn as a new mom overwhelming, to say the least. And there were things I did not know, and that's okay. So coming at your life as a new mom with humility of like, this is going to be a learning curve. This is going to be a game changer. There's going to be things that you don't know, and there's things that you're going to really thrive at doing very easily. And all of that is okay. All of that's part of the process. So the week before Christmas, or a couple weeks before Christmas, I got really bad news. And I had a former boss say things about me and my integrity that I disagree with emphatically, but I also learned a lot of information from that incident that happened, and so I felt like I really needed to give a whole synopsis of how I handle judgment from others, especially when some of it has truth and some of it is just a wrong conclusion that someone made. And first off, I will say this, it has taken me a very long time to be okay with someone not liking me. And as a mom, you get to be a little bit better about that, because you choosing to have someone in your life that is rude or inconsistent or negative has a greater effect on those around you, namely your children. And so you put up with a lot less. And so I definitely held my ground in this situation. And so I really wanted to make sure I broke it down, one, so that I'd have a process for myself to follow in future incidences where things just aren't fun. You know, people are just not nice. And how do I go about making myself strong in a moment where I feel incredibly weak? So the first thing I did was process my emotions. I actually let myself feel exactly how I should feel. Like I let myself be angry. I let myself be sad. And at first I was very sad because I took what this person said to heart. They said I was a disgrace to the profession, that I was a terrible person, that I didn't care. And all these things are just, they're so hurtful to me because not only do I care so immensely, I care deeply. And to have someone tell me those things when it was, you know, I admitted I made a mistake. I admitted my faults. I admitted I didn't do things the way I should have done them. I admitted where I had done my job, my part of the story. But I also was a very young, and, you know, I was just very young in my training, and I needed help. And I didn't feel like I was supported in the situation. And to have that feeling be put on you in, you know, such a vulnerable way made me sad. And then it made me angry to be like, wow, how dare you? You know, how dare you make those claims to me? The second thing I did was I eliminate all shoulds. So I should have done this differently. I shouldn't feel this way. I should give up. Like all the shoulds. I had a professor that when a patient would come in the room during our presentations and a patient would start saying, well, I should have done this, I should have done that. Like, I know I should do this. My professor would interrupt them and go, oh, hi, depression. How are you? I'm so glad that you joined us. You're totally welcome in this room, but you're going to have to take a seat over there. And it was just like so eye-opening to be able to depersonalize and take away the person, that the part of me that wants to should everything. And so in situations like this, it's like, I know where I could have gone. I know what I could have done. I know what I did not do. I know what I did. And so I know where I could go wrong. I've made improvements. I've learned skills. I've gotten better. And overall, everyone was safe. So I don't have a negative opinion of myself. I don't feel like I could have done better in my scenario. And it's really important that you eliminate shoulds in situations and get rid of them. Not to say that there's not ways you could do things in the past better, but because it doesn't help you. It's done. And it's like, I, in the future, would like to do blah, 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 blah. But I can't go back and say that something in the past should be a certain way because it's already done. The past is past. I can only look towards the future to improve whatever it is. And the third thing I will say is counsel the right people and look at the sum of the totality of information that's being said to you. So if everybody that you've talked to has the same opinion of you, and everybody that you're going to different types of people, which I go to very, very, very different types of people for advice and counseling in this scenario. You know, mentors that I've worked with me, mentors that I've met recently, people I've met in the past, people that know me very intimately, and people that don't know me at all that well, but kind of have gotten my reputation, people that have had very few things to say about me, but have been able to tell me, like, you know, what I could do better, what could be part of the problem, and, you know, what is the truth of the critique that's being played against me. And I think that's the biggest thing here, is that anytime someone gives you a criticism, there's always room for them to be right. And I always give someone that's giving me judgment or criticism, I always give them room to be right. Because there's probably a part of them that's doing it out of the goodness and kindness of their heart. They're trying to make you better. Some people are trying to make themselves feel better, but most people, their intention is to help you in some way by pointing out something negative because they think that they're doing a service to you. Whether that's what really it ends up being or not, I don't know, but I always try to look that people that are bringing judgments towards me are bringing it with a sense of honesty and desire to make me a better person. And so whether or not I choose to believe the criticisms they've given me or not, it's up to me. It's totally up to me. And I always try to go to people and be like, okay, how can I sort through this? Let's remove the emotions from this. Like, this hurts. What is actually true and what is not? And some people that you go to, when you go to certain people, they're gonna be like, well, none of it's true. It's just like, it's all hogwash. You need to move on. You need to ignore what they're saying and move on. And some people are very much like, okay, so I see where they're coming from. This is kind of what I think is true, but this is probably an exaggeration because their emotions here said blah, 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 blah. And I always find that when I go to multiple people for counseling of this sort, like friends, family members, colleagues, mentors, the like, I always kind of get the through line. And through the information I collect from others, I can look at the trends and realize that it really isn't true. Like it is or it isn't true, and I can make choices based on what I want to do. And that's my fourth thing, is that I figure out what exactly I'm going to take to heart and what is actually going to make me a better person. You know, iron sharpens iron. What is actually going to make me sharper, better physician, a better person, a better mom, a better caregiver, better relationships, like whatever it is. What is going to make me better in this scenario, and what is just meant to hurt me? And what can I just ignore and leave at the door? And I feel like that's always the through line with any of these situations where someone is like talking to you about proper car seat safety, or they're trying to talk to you about, you know, whether or not you should get your child vaccinated or not, or whether they're trying to, you know, whatever hot topic there is tomorrow about something. People are trying to do good. They're not trying to harm you. And forgiving them for making you feel awful does really allow you the chance to just use what they're saying as a way to move forward instead of a way to feel resentment or anger. And it also makes you a better person. Not just a better mom, but a better person, because you taking their information and knowing that they have the best intentions. Sometimes they don't, but I always assume that people that, you know, only hurt people hurt people. So I don't really view someone's criticism of me as something that is meant to, you know, really make me better. But I always want to take the moment and pause and think, like, is this something I should take on? Now, a lot of times there's an immediate, hell no, I'm moving on. But in this scenario, it was a very serious, like, moment. And I definitely don't ever want to live it again. And it's okay to be hurt by people that are judging you. It's okay to wish that things aren't the way that they are. And it's okay to have this idea that you want people to like you. But I have news for you. Not everyone has to like who you are and what you stand for and how you live your life. And you can make decisions that are based on what your beliefs are about who you are at your core. And other people don't have to get in your way. Other people's opinions aren't what matters. And you can make choices as a mom in whatever way you think is best. When I had my son, he was a clubfoot baby, and he was casted both legs from toe to hip. And I cannot tell you how many times people ask me how much I dropped my baby, or how did I drop my baby, or how did I hurt my baby, as if I was the one that was neglectful. When in reality, I'm the one that stood by his side while they casted him up. Perfectly healthy baby. And he screamed the entire time, knowing that me allowing his discomfort right now would lead to a better life later on. I'm the one that tolerated being in the room while they cut into him and tore his Achilles tendon in front of me, and then casted him up. I'm the one that did that so that he could have a better future. I didn't do anything wrong to my baby. And it's okay to be hurt by those judgments. And it's okay to not internalize those judgments and know that they're just lack of knowledge, lack of information, and a feeling of entitlement to know exactly what's going on in your personal life. And, it's okay. It's okay for people to judge you. You don't have to return it with judgment, and you don't have to accept that judgment. And you can learn, you can let go, and you can move on. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy New Year, everyone. All right, here we go with another episode of the new Mom Naturopath. Today I wanted to talk to you about the 4 ways I handle judgment from other moms and judgment in general from people around me. I have had a very difficult season in terms of starting my career as a naturopath. I've had a lot of really difficult feedback to take. I put a lot of effort into my training. I put a lot of effort in my knowledge base and my skill set, and a lot of the feedback has been the exact opposite of what I would expect in a field that's supposed to be supportive. And so I've had to do this again as a new physician, as a mom. And I remember doing this as a mom too. There were a lot of times where judgment is felt, especially in social media space, whether it be in the social media space, or I had a lot of the experience of having issues with people judging me based on my son's treatments because they were, visible to the outside world. And the automatic assumption was always that I harmed my baby, and I had to be the one to explain that I didn't. The casts are on there because I love my child. And so judgment is part of our lives, whether we're a mom. All right, here we go with another episode of the new Mom Naturopath. Today I wanted to talk to you about the 4 ways I handle judgment from other moms and judgment in general from people around me. I have had a very difficult season in terms of starting my career as a naturopath. I've had a lot of really difficult feedback to take. I put a lot of effort into my training. I put a lot of effort in my knowledge base and my skill set, and a lot of the feedback has been the exact opposite of what I would expect in a field that's supposed to be supportive. And so I've had to do this again as a new physician, as a mom. And I remember doing this as a mom too. There were a lot of times where judgment is felt, especially in social media space, whether it be in the social media space, or I had a lot of the experience of having issues with people judging me based on my son's treatments because they were, visible to the outside world. And the automatic assumption was always that I harmed my baby, and I had to be the one to explain that I didn't. The casts are on there because I love my child. And so judgment is part of our lives, whether we're a mom.
Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through the New Mom Doc podcast. Remember, you're not alone on this wild adventure called motherhood. I hope that you enjoy this episode that brought practical, valuable insights and a sense of community. As we wrap up, remember to prioritize your self-care, lean on your support system, and embrace the beautiful messiness of being a mom. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to me, and it helps other new moms discover this podcast. And as always, remember, you're an incredible, loving, and capable mom. Together, we're rewriting the book on motherhood and empowering each other to thrive.